It's time for another multi-view review. I really want to make sure we see some improvements in what we do. I believe we need to give our best to the Lord and put our best foot forward with this, remembering this is not just to make us look good, but to win souls and to be a light in this world. With all that said, you guys should know what we're doing by now. One song where I go through and talk about everything we can do better, so let's get right to it. Right off the bat, the first thing I noticed when reviewing this footage is that we are on the same shot of camera 3 for a long time. Given that this is a slow song, we should be on this shot for 7 to 10 seconds at most, and we end up staying on it way longer than that. So I did put up a time code. You guys can see what time it started and what time it ended, and you can kind of make up the difference there and see for yourself how long we are on it. But let's just make sure going forward as directors we do some faster switches.
Camera 2. Alright. Get ready for a panel shot, camera 2. Panel shot, camera 2.
This is extremely long. You can hear the director in the background talking the whole time, but nothing is coming from it. We need to make sure as camera operators that we're not talking on headset, and as a director we need to focus on directing and always making sure you're thinking about your next shot. Here, whenever camera 2 is doing a pan of the praise team, you can see him stopping and going and slowing down and speeding up. This really comes down to training and knowing the camera you're operating well and being able to operate it efficiently. So as camera operators, we need to make sure that before service we're going down to our cameras and we're checking that all of our settings are correct so we're ready to go when service time comes.
Camera 2 starts zooming out.
We notice here that our director is trying to set up a shot with camera 2 by having him zoom out. This creates a situation where we are sticking on camera 3 for an extended period of time. As a director, make sure what you're planning flows with the service. You can even use that zoom out camera 2 is doing as a shot, but make sure he brings down the headroom.
Move your camera more to the right, Will. More to the right. I mean, more to the left, more to the left, more to the left. Alright. There you go. Alright, right there, good. Stop right there. Alright, 5 seconds off. Stand by on 2. Auto 2.
You can see here when the director did end up switching to camera 2 finally, it's just a static shot, so there was really no reason for having him zoom out all the way to zoom back in and then not even use either one of those zooms as a shot. We really want to make sure going forward that we do direct our cameras efficiently and we can get great shots doing so. Just a couple of notes while we're here. The director here is trying to be super specific with the camera and the types of shots he takes, which is sometimes fine, but in this instance it's slowing us down and we're not getting good shots out of it. A good camera operator can lead the director with shots and the director can just call the switches. As directors, let's try to give the camera operators room to breathe and grab shots. As camera operators, let's make sure we're getting quality shots and making them smooth. And on both notes, let's take down the headset jitter quite a bit. When reviewing these, I'm looking to hear just the director and not a whole conversation. If something isn't working properly, camera 1 in this case, make sure I know about it and I will work on it, or someone I delegate it to. If I can't fix it or they can't fix it and it looks bad, we won't use it during that service. We will get it fixed some other time. Let's just make sure going forward we keep the chatter and the headsets down.
Auto 3.
That last zoom out with camera 2 was not a very bad shot, but let's make sure that going forward we keep our headroom down on that, focusing on the singers and on the crowd and not on the back wall. Also, let's make sure as switchers and directors that going forward we switch away from the camera before it stops its movement. And as a camera operator, if you know your movement is about to stop, you can let your director know so he can get away from it.
Start zooming back in. Stand by on 2. Auto 2.
So everything he just did with camera 2, the zoom in, keeping the headroom down, and switching off before the camera stopped was good. The only thing I want to say about this shot is that going forward, when the music dies down and it gets kind of close and intimate, is when we want our camera shots to get pretty close. The moment is only as big or as small as you make it for the people watching online, and so we want to make sure we convey that as best we can.
Alright. Go ahead. Stand by on 2. Auto 2. Keep going, Will. Keep going. 2-1. Stand by on 3. Auto 3. Alright. Stop it. Camera 1 is still blinking.
You can hear how long that conversation took them, and in that time we stuck on camera 3 the whole time. So instead of getting another shot, we were more worried about a camera, which we can easily worry about after service and prepare for Sunday night.
Stand by 2, auto 2.
On this note, we're going to end this Multiview review. If you managed to make it all the way to the end of this video, comment Oreo so I know you've watched it all. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Make sure you're learning all the songs and come prepared on Sunday.